Ruby's Big Adventure. One bright morning, Ruby the rabbit bounced excitedly to Benny the bear's cave. "Wake up, Benny. It's adventure time," she chirped. Benny yawned and stretched. "Adventure? Can't we just have a picnic?" "Nope. We're going to find the legendary golden acorn hidden deep in the forest," Ruby said, eyes shining. Benny, still half asleep, trudged after Ruby as she led the way through the woods. They crossed a wobbly bridge, jumped over a small stream, and even climbed over fallen logs. "Are we sure this acorn is real?" Benny asked, scratching his head. "Of course. Squeaky the squirrel told me all about it," Ruby said, hopping ahead. After a long walk, they reached an ancient oak tree with twisted branches. "This must be it," Ruby gasped. She looked up and spotted a tiny golden glow in a hollow high above. Benny groaned. "I knew this would involve climbing." Ruby giggled. "That's why I brought you. You're the best climber." With a deep breath, Benny climbed up the tree, carefully placing his big paws on the rough bark. Ruby cheered him on from below. Finally, Benny reached the hollow and pulled out the golden acorn. It shimmered in the sunlight. "I got it," he called down. As Benny climbed down, he slipped. "Whoa!" But Ruby caught him with a pile of leaves she had quickly gathered. They laughed, staring at the golden treasure in their paws. "We did it!" Ruby cheered. "Best adventure ever," Benny agreed. And with that, they marched home, ready to tell their friends the tale of their great discovery. Benny Ruby's new car. One sunny morning, Benny the bear and Ruby the rabbit stood outside their burrow staring at their brand new car. It was shiny blue with big wheels and a soft, bouncy seat inside. A little flag on the back flapped in the wind. "I can't believe we have a car now," Ruby said, hopping with excitement. Benny grinned. "This is going to be awesome. Just imagine, no more long walks to the market, and we can go on road trips." Ruby jumped into the driver's seat. "Let's take it for a spin." Benny scratched his head. Have you ever driven before?" Ruby laughed. "How hard can it be? Just press this pedal and—" Vroom! The car zoomed forward, kicking up dust. Benny yelped and grabbed onto the dashboard as Ruby swerved left and right. "Pruh! Whoa, slow down," Benny cried. Ruby grinned. "This is so fun!" Just then, splash! They hit a puddle, sending water flying everywhere. Benny's fur was soaked. "Okay, maybe we should practice first," he muttered, shaking off the water. They pulled over to dry off. Benny studied the car's buttons. "Let's figure out how this works before we crash into something." Ruby nodded. "Good idea. So, this pedal makes us go forward. This one makes us stop." After a few minutes of practice, they tried again. This time, Ruby drove much smoother, and Benny cheered. "Now we're cruising," Benny said, leaning back and enjoying the breeze. They drove to the market, picked up a basket of carrots and honey, then took a scenic route back home. They waved at Squeaky the squirrel and Terry the tortoise as they passed by. By the time they parked, the sun was setting. Ruby stretched. "That was the best ride ever." Benny nodded. "Yeah, and next time I get to drive." Ruby giggled. "Only if you pass my driving test." They both laughed, knowing many more adventures awaited in their new car. Benny Ruby's Beach Day. One bright summer morning, Benny the bear and Ruby the rabbit packed their bags for a trip to the beach. Benny stuffed his bag with snacks, honey sandwiches, berries, and a giant watermelon, while Ruby packed towels, sunscreen, and a bright red beach ball. "Hurry up, Benny, the waves are waiting," Ruby cheered. Benny, carrying a giant picnic basket, chuckled. "I'm coming, but I'm mostly excited about lunch." When they arrived at Sandy Shore Beach, the sun sparkled on the water, and the waves gently crashed onto the shore. "Last one in is a rotten carrot," Ruby shouted, dashing toward the water. Benny waddled after her but stopped at the edge. Ruby, the water looks kind of big." Ruby splashed around. "Come on, Benny, it's just a little water." Benny dipped a paw in and shivered. "It's cold." Ruby giggled and threw a tiny splash at him. "Now it's colder." Benny gasped. "Oh, now you've done it." He stomped into the water and sent a giant splash her way. After swimming and playing, they built a sandcastle with towers and a moat. Benny made it extra strong by patting the sand with his big paws, while Ruby decorated it with seashells. "It needs a flag," Benny said, pulling a red napkin from the picnic basket. He stuck it on a twig and placed it on top. "Perfect," Ruby cheered. Just then a wave rolled in and washed part of their castle away. "No!" Benny groaned. Ruby laughed. "That's just the ocean's way of saying it likes our castle." After playing, they sat under a big umbrella for their picnic. Benny happily munched on his honey sandwiches, and Ruby enjoyed fresh berries. As the sun started to set, Ruby sighed. This was the best beach day ever. Benny smiled, licking honey off his paw. "I agree, but next time, let's build our castle farther from the water." They both laughed, watching the waves as the sky turned pink and gold. Benny Bear, Ruby Rabbit at the circus. One bright and breezy afternoon, Benny Bear and Ruby Rabbit were hopping with excitement. The circus had come to town. "I can't wait to see the acrobats," Ruby exclaimed, her fluffy tail twitching. "And I'm excited for the popcorn," Benny said, rubbing his belly. They raced to the big top, where a juggler greeted them at the entrance, tossing colourful balls high into the air. Inside, the tent was filled with laughter, music, and the delicious smell of buttery popcorn. First, they watched a family of acrobats flip and twirl high above the ground. "Wow, I wish I could jump like that," Benny said. "You already can," Ruby giggled. "Just not as gracefully." Next came the clowns, honking their big red noses and making everyone laugh. One clown with extra long shoes tripped over a banana peel and landed in a bucket of confetti, sending sparkles flying everywhere. Then the ringmaster announced the final act. "Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for the most daring tightrope walker of all time." A tiny squirrel stepped onto the rope high above. The crowd gasped as he balanced on one foot, then spun in a circle, but uh-oh! A gust of wind made him wobble. "Oh no!" Ruby whispered. Thinking fast, Benny grabbed a big trampoline from the side. "Jump, Mr. Squirrel," he called. The squirrel leaped off the rope and landed safely with a bounce. The crowd cheered. The ringmaster smiled. "Let's give a big hand to Benny Bear and Ruby Rabbit for helping save the show." As a reward, they got free tickets for next year's circus and, of course, an extra bag of popcorn for Benny. As they left, Benny grinned. "That was the best circus ever," Ruby laughed. "And next time, maybe you can try the tightrope." Benny gulped. "Let's not get carried away." And with that, they walked home, already dreaming of their next big adventure. The Great Shopping Adventure. One sunny morning, Benny the Bear and Ruby the Rabbit decided to go shopping. Benny's cupboard was empty, and Ruby wanted to find the perfect gift for their friend, Squeaky the Squirrel. As they entered the bustling market, Benny's stomach rumbled. "First stop, food," he declared, leading Ruby straight to the fruit stand. "You always think with your stomach," Ruby giggled, picking out a basket of juicy red apples. Benny, however, had his eyes on a giant jar of honey. After getting their snacks, they walked past a colourful toy store. "Oh, Squeaky loves puzzles," Ruby said, spotting a wooden acorn-shaped puzzle. Benny nodded and added, "And maybe a little bag of nuts to go with it." Just as they were about to leave, Benny noticed a soft blue scarf. "Winter is coming. You should get this, Ruby," he said kindly. Ruby smiled. "Only if you get that warm hat." With full shopping bags and happy hearts, they walked home, munching on apples and dreaming about their next adventure.